Hi.
I need to speak with one of the inmates.
Who are you? I have to try and find my sister. Powder? Vi?
There are people down there hell-bent on destroying us.
The only way to defeat Topside is to stop at nothing.
We should prepare our own countermeasures.
Imagining yourself a hero. I'm afraid this will be a very short reunion.
It's Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man, coming to you live once again from beautiful Hawaii here on the island of Oahu, bringing you, yes you, the best movie reviews on the entire island of Oahu. And yes, this is Trinidad, the Island Man, your Island Man. And today I am talking to you not about a movie, but yet a wonderful TV show review on Netflix called Arcane. Now I know what you're saying. You're saying, hey, Island Man, that's been out for a while, since November 6th. Even your trailer says so. And you're right. It did drop November 6th. However, Netflix was doing something very different, or not so different. They pulled an Amazon, basically, or a Disney Plus, and just released this series, season 1 of Arcane. They released 3 episodes on November 6th, with 3 episodes following every week until the week of Thanksgiving. So a total of 9 episodes for season 1 of Arcane. And, well, without further ado, remember our rating scale. Shock a thumbs up, it's good to see, I recommend it. Shock a thumbs down, it's junk, I don't recommend it. And for the television show, the Netflix show, based on the video game League of Legends, it is Arcane, a strong shock a thumbs up. Let me just say that I was very impressed with this anime, this animated series on Netflix, starring Haley Steinfeld and Ella Purnell. Now, Haley Steinfeld plays Vi, our main protagonist, and Ella Purnell plays her sister, Powder, who later becomes Jinx, or goes by the name of Jinx. And basically, this is a tale as old as time, all the way from A Tale of Two Cities, of the haves and have-nots. These two sisters, Vi and Powder, live in poverty, orphans after their parents have died, following an uprising against the aristocrats and the nobles in the city. They are forced to live in poverty, struggling to survive in what is called the underground, where all of the impoverished poor people live. And meanwhile, the aristocrats, the nobles, the merchants with money live, in the upper crust of town, and basically form all of the rules for the city. And basically, Vi, Powder, their friends in the underground are all subject to both criminal corruption, crime lords, basically controlling their lives, and corrupt law enforcers, lawmen that the noble side of town brings to make sure that they stay in line and keep their place and try to keep the peace. Because, there's robberies, there's drug deals that go on, and etc. So this is the backdrop of Arcane. These two sisters struggle to forge a life, and unfortunately, circumstances both beyond their control and by mistakes of their own making and doing, the two are separated at a crucial moment, and Powder finds herself in a weakened position, having been left on the streets alone, and turns to what seems to be a friendly crime boss, seeking to give her a new opportunity, a new chance to live, as Vi is violently taken to jail and arrested for things she did not do. Cut to 10 years later, and we see Vi's escape from prison, only to come back to find Powder, a corrupted, evil daughter of this crime boss, very much out of control, out of sorts, having been physically and mentally, psychologically abused. She is no longer in control and no longer the sister that Vi had once known. And it is very soon after which that the two find themselves both at odds philosophically and emotionally with one another, as Vi only wants her sister Powder back, but she is no more taking the name Jinx and being this crime syndicate lord's daughter fully, and thus beginning to move into criminal exploits of her own, essentially becoming a terrorist, at first for her crime lord father, adopted father, but now soon usurping him to fully take control and cause anarchy throughout the entire city, both in the underground and where the nobles live, despite hopes of a brokered peace by Vi, the nobleman, and even Powder / Jinx's criminal lord that she had once served faithfully. I don't know what more to say about this other than it is a strong shock, a thumbs up. This is probably one of the best Western animated series, shows that I've seen. Now, I'm a fan of Japanese animation, so I expect very high quality animated series or anime, and this is by far some of the best Western, and very much fits into a Japanese anime, some of the best that I would compare it to. For those maybe not familiar with League of Legends, I never played the video game. It was kind of a capture the flag kind of thing, it sounds like. But this expands that mythos, those legends, far greater than the video game, I believe. And what you're left with, I could compare basically to Full Metal Alchemist, essentially, for those not familiar with this series, Arcane. Essentially, this is a fantasy world in Arcane, whereas technology basically rules. Guns and the like, airships, fantastic mechanical devices, but there is a rediscovery of magic that is trying to be ignited throughout the land. Very much like Full Metal Alchemist, and once that magic is discovered, it is melded with the technology, again very much like Full Metal Alchemist. People have mechanical arms that are powered by this hex tech, kind of like Edward's arm in Full Metal Alchemist, his leg, very much so like that gives them more powerful strength and abilities, in addition to alchemy that some people can learn and display in Full Metal Alchemist. But with these hex stones, magic can be done, very much like the alchemy stones in Full Metal Alchemist. And they can be used for good or evil, but essentially soon they are corrupted, and they begin to corrupt their users as well. Vi and her sister Powder, played by Hailey Steinfeld, and Ella Perel do magnificent jobs. I would say that Ella Perel as Powder / Jinx definitely outshines Hailey Steinfeld, both the character and in acting prowess in this, or at least she has definitely more range, being able to show her mania, her craziness, as she loses her mind from the psychological torment that she had suffered throughout her childhood and teenage years, along with the physical abuse, which leaves Powder, Vi's innocent sister, no more, and this evil Jinx in her place, ready to combat her sister. Essentially, think of Edward and Alphonse. If Edward had saved Alphonse and molded or bonded his spirit to the armor at the time, sacrificing his arm and his leg in order to do so when they were attempting to bring back their mother from Full Metal Alchemist. If Alphonse had been taken by the darkness only to be found by Edward later, perhaps his mind would have been changed. He would have been turned evil and crazy as much as Powder, or now Jinx, has when Vi rediscovers and finds her. Definitely a missed opportunity that Vi and Powder did not continue to grow up together, but they were torn apart, very much like Alphonse and Edward almost were in Full Metal Alchemist. But because of Edward's fast thinking, he was able to save him and keep his brother at least mentally intact, if not physically. Vi did not have that same option, so she lost Powder to this crime lord, and thus his evil corruption worked her throughout the years to turn her against her sister, her friends, the very society in which she lived, and turn into the person we now know as Jinx, and soon usurp her adopted father, like I said, becoming the new crime lord of the underground, and taking her wrath against the nobles on the richer side of town. So yes, this is a beautiful, fantastic anime or animated series that Netflix has done. My only complaints with the series from Netflix is that they did not drop it all at once. I prefer to binge it. That's what Netflix is for. That's why I don't usually watch Amazon, or when I do, it's after this whole series has dropped, so I don't have to wait. Same thing with Disney Plus, etc. I'll wait for all the episodes to drop and then I'll binge it. I binged Arcane, 9 episodes, 30 minutes each for season 1, 30-minute time limit for usually 30 to 40 minutes for episodes. In about 3 days, I was able to finish it, and I enjoyed it greatly. Far more than what I think I would have done waiting week to week for the episodes to drop, like Netflix has planned, copying Amazon, which I think is a mistake, honestly. Other than that, the only complaints I have is that they do try to do some world building. You see the noble side of the city, the council members. The story works best when it is centered around the two sisters, Powder / Jinx, and her sister Vi, Hailey Steinfeld and Ella Purnell do wonderful jobs playing off one another. And you really feel their heartfelt performances, and that's the show's strength. When it departs from these characters, you kind of lose a couple of beats, a couple of steps, as it shapes into more of a political drama, council members against council members, other factions of the noble class coming in, wanting a war with the underground, etc. Whereas the underground just wants independence for themselves. That's essentially the problems that I have with this series. Other than that, strong shaka thumbs up for Arcane. Go ahead and check it out when you can, however you can. They go ahead and it is a really good show. Go ahead and check it out when you can, however you can, especially now that it's all out. If you have Netflix, definitely check out the season 1, 9 episodes, and binge it. Season 2's already been greenlit and will come sometime next year. All right, thank you so much. This is Trinidad, the Island Man, giving Arcane on Netflix, the first season, a strong shaka thumbs up. All right, mahalo and aloha.